Alright, so if you're a fan of webcomics like Lookism or Viral Hit, you already know you're getting into a world of absolutely brutal fights and unforgettable characters. But what if I told you that all these incredible stories, they aren't separate, not even close? What if they're all just pieces of a giant, terrifying puzzle? Well, today, we're going to try and put it together. See, there's this theory making the rounds, and it is a big one. It asks a pretty unsettling question. Are all these top-tier fighters, are they really in control? Or are they just pawns on some cosmic chessboard being pushed towards one single explosive event? The idea is, all their personal fights, that's just the warm-up act for a secret war that's been brewing behind the scenes. Okay, so let's quickly talk about the players on the board. The Titans. You know who I'm talking about. These are the main characters of their own insane stories, right? They feel like they're carving out their own destiny. But what if they're not? What if they're just the most powerful pieces in a game they have no idea is even happening?
First up from Lookism, of course you got Daniel Park. Just a high school kid, right? Except he has this insane secret, a whole second body that's basically a perfect fighting machine. We've watched him climb the ladder, taking down some of Seoul's nastiest crews. But you gotta wonder, where is all this actually headed?
Then you jump to a whole other league, and you've got Manager Kim. I mean, this guy is a legend, a former Black Ops super soldier, basically a walking weapon who handles threats that could topple countries. He is the absolute peak of what a trained fighter can be.
And then you have the Kingmakers, the terrifying duo of Gun Park and Gu Kim. These two are basically the final bosses for any up-and-comer. They wander the underworld, finding and forging the next generation of monsters. They aren't just strong themselves, they create strength. They're the ultimate test.
And oh man, you can't talk about powerhouses without mentioning the ultimate wildcard, Johan Song from Lookism. Such a tragic character, but his ability, it's terrifying. He can perfectly copy any fighting style just by seeing it once. This guy is literally a one-man army. He's taken down entire gangs, all by himself. And believe me, the list just goes on and on. You've got the guys from Viral Hit, who taught themselves to fight from watching videos. You've got the kids in Questism with, like, video game powers. The point is, every single one of these series is minting its own champion, and they're all getting stronger, tougher, and more dangerous in their own little wars. Okay, so we've laid out the pieces on the chessboard. All these incredible fighters. But that begs the real question. Who's the player? If these guys are all pawns, who is moving them? And if you really start to look closely, across all the stories, you start to see these little hints. A hidden hand pulling the strings. I mean, just stop and think about it. Really think. What if all their biggest challenges, the gangs, the rivals, all these insane obstacles, what if none of it is by chance? What if it's all been engineered? Set up, specifically, to push them, to force them to level up and become even more monstrous fighters. So yeah, that's the absolute core of this whole theory. The idea that there are these incredibly powerful, hidden figures manipulating the entire criminal world. They're not just watching the chaos unfold, no, they're causing it. All for some secret endgame we can't see yet. And once you start looking for it, you see the pattern everywhere. It's like putting together a conspiracy board. First clue, every single top fighter is being pushed to their absolute breaking point, over and over again. Second clue, the fights are getting bigger, the stakes are getting higher. And third, and this is a big one, major players are starting to run into each other. A lot. It doesn't feel random, you know? It feels like a plan. And that plan seems to be pointing in only one direction, a massive collision. These worlds that we thought were separate are being pushed together. The walls are crumbling down, and you can see it happening in real time just by looking at how much the stakes have been raised. You can literally map it out. Phase 1 was, street brawls and high school fights. Then, Phase 2, it evolved into organized crews battling for control of whole sections of the city. Now, we're in Phase 3, with guys like Manager Kim dealing with international corporations and government secrets. See the pattern? Each step gets bigger. It's preparing everyone for the next logical step, the final phase, a full-blown war. So here's the takeaway, the most important part. This isn't just a bunch of separate stories anymore, it's way past that. All the signs are pointing to a very deliberate, very patient build-up. A build-up to one single, massive event that's going to pull in every single character we care about. All right, so where does all this lead? We've connected the dots, we've followed the clues, and it all brings us to one absolutely wild, universe-breaking theory about the endgame.
It's called the Final Crossover War Theory, and it goes like this. Every single one of these webcomics, they're all just rivers flowing into the same giant ocean of conflict. And at the center of it all, a new villain will emerge. Someone so powerful, so smart that no one, not even Dandel or Manager Kim, can face them alone. This new threat is going to be so huge, it forces everyone to team up. Friends, enemies, it won't matter.
So the theory breaks it down into 4 steps. Step 1. This new ultimate villain finally shows their face. Step 2. Every single hero we love gets pushed to the absolute limit, probably beaten within an inch of their lives. That forces Step 3, the impossible alliance. Think about it. Guys like Johan and Daniel having to fight on the same side just to survive. And that all leads to Step 4, the final, massive battle for everything. And we're not talking about fighting for control of a high school or a neighborhood anymore. No way. The stakes here are everything. The theory says this final war is for the fate of their entire world. It's what every fight, every broken bone, every single sacrifice has been building towards. And that leaves us with one last, kind of terrifying question. If they all unite, if Daniel Park, Manager Kim, Gun, Goo, every single champion we've ever seen, if they all stand together as one giant army, will it be enough? I mean, really, will it be enough to actually win? The scary part is, maybe not. Something to think about.